to name the defendant or not to name the defendant. That's what we discovered in a case at Maitland Local Court this week. There are about 130 people listed to appear at Maitland this week, and I can only find public information about one case because of a journalist publishing a story. The story details the domestic violence, the car accident, and the assault occasioning grievous bodily harm. Read the story if you're interested in the detail. I think it's the legal insight that also makes this case worth talking about. The story says the 46-year-old man, quote, whose name has been withheld to protect the child's identity, end quote. And then the story goes on to say whatever they did. The journalist doesn't name the defendant. By the way, the story doesn't discuss the laws around publication, but I think this is an opportunity to remind ourselves about the law. Yes, some cases may have a non-publication or suppression order in place, but there are many situations that trigger an automatic non-publication or suppression of some of the details in the case. Check out the local court bench book. Part 62 lists the situations and the relevant laws. In my opinion, this case triggers an automatic non-publication because to reveal the identity of the defendant would likely reveal the identity of the child. The story tells us the defendant is the child's father. By the way, as far as I can tell, the defendant was named on the court list, so they were one of the 130 people listed, and the sentencing happened in open court, so you and I could be in the gallery and listen to the court dealing with this case. However, that does not mean we can leave the courtroom and lawfully publish the name. And these laws apply to everyone, not just journalists. Sure, journalists publish words in newspapers and talk about cases on the TV. I'm not a journalist. The court doesn't recognise me as one because I don't hold a press pass. However, I would argue I publish because I make this content. So watch out, because I reckon typing stuff on social media, making videos, etc., could be argued as publishing. What I think this media story also reminds us is that we can still talk about the activities at our local court without naming the defendant. The story still has details about the offending, the sentence for deterrence, and what the magistrate said to denounce the behaviour. Is the defendant's name really the most important part of the story about a court case?